Hey everybody, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Today I'm going to do a book review. It's been a little while since I did one, but I did just finish Chuck Dixon's The Siege of the Black Citadel. This is a Conan book. I guess we'd call it a pastiche, technically. Now, I'm a fan of Conan. I like short stories, somewhat better than novels, and Robert E. Howard was real good at them. And he created this indelible character, kind of a reflection of the roughnecks, the cowboys of his native Texas that he grew up around. Had some interesting ideas about the Hyborian age that were, sort of the science and pseudoscience of the day of continents rising and sinking, of these cultures that were familiar but which predated the cultures they resembled that we know. A lot of cool stuff in Conan. But by and large, I have not been a big fan of the pastiches. I've not been a big fan of the follow-ups people have tried to do with Conan. I think they did a great job in the Marvel comics, especially the big black and white magazine editions. Boy, I had a lot of those. I still do. Those were pretty good. But a lot of the pastiches just, they didn't necessarily they felt like somebody trying to write Conan. Trying to imitate Robert E. Howard's Conan instead of it coming from the same kind of creative place. And hey, that's a hard thing to do, right? Because nobody who's going to come along is going to have the background, is going to have the life of Robert E. Howard to be able to then take that but a lot of them they kind of fell a little short to me. They feel like boys imitating men, right? You see these guys who think being a man is about trucks and football and beer, and it's like, no, man, that's what boys think manhood is. Manhood's about, starting a family, working hard, sometimes playing hard, but it's about kind of being, the guardian, the provider, the person who builds, who keeps things going. Real manhood is not what boys imagine manhood is. And likewise, a lot of Conan pastiches just, it doesn't feel like they get it exactly. Chuck Dixon gets it. Now, I'm not saying Chuck Dixon grew up, in the wilds of Texas in the, whatever, teens and 20s. But he seems to me to get it. From the beginning, this felt like a Conan story. Didn't necessarily feel like a Robert E. Howard written story. It didn't seem like it was an imitation of it. But it felt like it had the heart of it. Felt like it had the soul of it. It's a nice little story. Uses the setting well. Writes the character well. I think Dixon gets some subtleties of Conan. Maybe even subtleties that you're not even completely conscious of. But when you get the things in the book, you're kind of going, oh yeah, that's Conan. That's right. That's how that would work, man. Let me read. Let's pick a random page, and let me read a passage from it. Yeah, I don't have my bifocals on. Let's see. The weather had become foul the following dawn. It served to match the mood of the Cimmerian as he rejoined his company to walk to the dig. A wet snow had fallen, turning the ground into a sea of slush. Now a wind out of the north was picking up to turn it all to ice. After being braced by the conniving Iser, he'd gone in search of the yellow-haired dancer, only to be told that her services had been requested by a lord on the staff of General Sithis. He next sought the Shemite siblings and the fat man. They were nowhere to be found among the tents, and no one he spoke to had seen them in many days. Conan attempted to quell his racing thoughts with drink, and had awoken in the bedding of a fat Numidian wench who smelled of lamb. See, it has the right feel for me. Now, story. What's the story about? Just briefly. And we can take this from the back. The mad Emperor Strabonus sits upon the imperial throne of Koth, a danger to his subjects and Koth's neighbors alike. When his cousin, Prince Zathomitis, raises an army in rebellion, he finds great support within and without the empire. Veteran legionaries, gold, and mercenaries flow into the prince's camp, including one barbarian sword for hire from the frigid north. The towering black citadel stands between the rebel prince and the throne he seeks, and when its siege threatens to continue well into winter, the prince orders a small team of sellswords to find a way into the ancient fortress called Talaskrith. And that's kind of the book. This rebel prince has laid siege to this citadel, this fortress. This fortress commands a pass through mountains, and if he can take it and seize it, he can starve out his cousin, and he can conquer Koth, if he can take it. But it's not going well. And so he recruits Conan and a few others to see if they can find a way in. And Conan does find a way in, but he finds something more. And the wheels start turning in his brain. Because remember, Conan's not about a cause. And Conan is not about loyally serving some aristocrat, some civilized man. No. Conan's about Conan. Conan's about Conan. And he finds a way he thinks that he can better his own place in the world. But it takes a lot of daring, and there are failures along the way. And there's some sword play, and there's, everything that should be in a Conan story is in The Siege of the Black Citadel. And the other thing that got me while reading it was, this could be a movie. I could see it. I could picture it. Look, I like the Schwarzenegger Conan flicks, but I'll be honest with you, I'd much rather have a better actor and one who Conan isn't a friggin' bodybuilder. That's not who he is, man. Somebody who could play a friggin' rough-hewn guy just out to friggin' take everything he can in the world. What I mostly pictured was sort of that John Buscema Conan kind of come to life. But you could, the dialogue, the setups, the scenes, the set pieces, you're going, damn, you could make a movie. You could make a damn fine Conan movie out of this book. Oh, yeah, it could work well. So, did I like The Siege of the Black Citadel? Oh, yeah. I liked it a lot. I highly suggested he's working on some more, and I will definitely buy them when they come out. Siege of the Black Citadel, Chuck Dixon, Conan the Barbarian. I feel like he got it right. I really feel like he got it right. It felt like Conan. If I have any quibble, there was a bit at the end where I thought it could go a little further one direction than it did, but it still works. It still makes sense. It wasn't a flaw in the story. It was me not having my expectations met, and what right did I have to have those expectations? I had no right. No, Chuck Dixon, Siege of the Black Citadel. Check it out. Hey, man, I'd love to hear from you if you've read this book, or if you're a big Conan fan. What do you think Conan's all about? What do you think the heart and soul of that character is? If you've read the book, hey, tell me what you thought about it. I'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, please share with your friends. In the meantime, God bless all of you. Please be kind to one another, and I will see you next time on Dad's Den of Pop Culture.